Hello, everyone. This is JPL, and today I'm joined with
Jay.
yes, and we are podcast name in brackets here today for a very, very special episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jay, episode 200. We've done 200 of these darn
Well, you
episodes.
you have. I've only done what,
Okay,
50 some, 60
M-
some.
close to 100.
Okay.
About 100 each. 100
Yeah.
with you, 100 with Christopher. Uh, Yeah, takes us about like 5 years ish to get to 100 episodes. So, um,
Yeah, we
yeah,
just recently celebrated our 10-year anniversary, so
yes, here we are at 200 episodes. I cannot fathom how we've done 200 episodes. We've done too many, but we're gonna do a whole lot more. um,
yeah.
we're not done yet. But yeah, to celebrate 200 episodes, we decided because it was like a brilliant idea, uh maybe not so brilliant, but we decided to talk about our top 200 movies to
Yeah.
coincide with 200 episodes. We're smart like
To,
this,
to
okay?
be to be clear though, we're doing 100 each. We aren't. That would be maybe that's a goal for when we reach episode 400 is to talk about 200 movies each.
Oh
Or
yeah, a
maybe
lot of
an
repetitiveness.
additional 200
Yes,
total.
additional 200. Yeah, so we're doing top 200, but like 200 is too many for each of us to talk about. I mean, depending on who you are. So we're going to divide it up to like 100 each, making a total of 200. Now, I realize that's a lot of films. So
Yes.
we're going to try and limit ourselves to about 30 seconds each film. So it's going to be back and forth, 30 seconds each. We're going to try not to do any rebuttals or agreements until the end of this very long list. So wait until the end of the list before we get into anything specific like that.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, and I'm going to for my list. Usually when we do these lists, I like to credit the filmmakers and give a little synopsis of each movie. I'm not going to be doing this. I don't have time for that, so you can look up these movies on your own and see if they are of interest to you. We've talked about a lot of these movies on various episodes throughout the years. So
yes. Also, like, don't pay too much attention to like where these films rank to like 100 to like number one. It's just a list of our 100 favorite films. Obviously, the closer we get to number one, maybe we'll put more thought into our overall thoughts. But honestly, these films can go up and down this list depending on whatever feeling we have.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I had to make separate lists of 10 movies, and then kind of I ranked those lists and then put them all together. So my rankings are like generally where they are. But if you're wondering why is number 45 above number 46, that's just where it got shuffled in. I was very intentional though with my top 10. My top 10 I feel like are very specifically chosen in those rankings.
mhm, yes. I myself, we done like a good job at trying not to overlap films, so uh, we we did some compromises there. I myself, I watch a lot of franchise films, and those films can like really pile up. And so instead of just doing each film in a franchise, I will consolidate a lot of films to just one slot and describe the franchise as one separate thing. So that may be cheating because like I technically have 200 of my own, but it don't matter. It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, mine are, with one exception, mine are all individual films.
Well, shall we get started?
Yeah, am I kicking things off here with my number 100?
You go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So my number 100 is Cloud Atlas. This feels like an appropriate way to start the list. It is deeply human, deeply emotional, bit nonsensical if you don't know the plot going in, but yeah, it's a film that encompasses a whole lot of various genres and feelings and tones.
Yes, and for my number 100, to contrast your very serious one, I have Nacho Libre. a Jack Black comedy that I grew up with, very nostalgic for me, my mom, my family. We quoted a whole lot. We have a background similar to the environment of that film, and so we can enjoy the references and the poking fun of different cultures. And yeah, it's a fun quotable time.
Yeah, so my number 99 is Event Horizon. I'm a big fan of space movies, a big fan of horror movies, and a big fan of Paul W.S. Anderson. I hope they find the lost footage of this one day because the snippets we have look kind of crazy.
For my number nine, I have El Camino, a Breaking Bad film. I really enjoyed the Breaking Bad TV show and Better Call Saul. So this film was a fun epilogue to a character. It's just really simple. It just has great simple photography that's very effective. Nothing too crazy happens, but it's just very effective with its simplicity.
Yeah, so my number 98 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. This is a gorgeously made French romance film with some very deeply felt emotions.
My number eight, another film with great emotions, is an adventure in space and time that tells the story of how the British TV show Doctor Who came about. I love seeing the behind the scenes details about like how this stuff started and the emotional journey that our main actor who plays the Doctor goes through as he gets older and realizes he can't play the character anymore.
So my number, this is what, 96, 97. Oh, well,
97.
I'll stop listing the numbers because I'm going to lose track here. Saltburn, a fun maximalist satire with incredible visuals and knockout performances. Tons of fun.
For my number 97, I have Super 8, a J.J. Abrams film. Really, his only film that's not part of a franchise. I wish he would do more. I found this a very emotional watch. I watched this when it first came out. I love the aesthetic of like the 80s, kind of similar to Stranger Things, but I think this does it maybe a little bit better at times. Yeah, it's a great emotional watch.
Yeah. Next up, I have The Postman. I know this is one that most people don't like. To be clear, this is Kevin Costner's The Postman. This is on my list, and I love it despite its flaws and silliness.
For my number 96, I have The Day After Tomorrow. I enjoy like good old disaster films, and this was the one that got me into that. The science and weather don't make much sense, but I enjoy just seeing the weather disaster, the flooding, the snow. Really enjoyable. I have lots of memories about the different aspects that made me think, oh no, is the weather going to turn out like this? But no.
Uh, yeah, next up, I have Away. This is the Gintz Zielba film. It's a very simple story, simple but beautiful animation, gorgeous music, and all the more impressive because was made entirely by one person.
And for my number 95, I have Speed Racer, a much very wild ride of colors, some of the best visual editing out there. The pacing and the story is told really well. Um, Generally, one of the best live action adaptations of an anime out there, although we are getting into an age of like really solid ones.
So my number four is Stalker, the Andrei Tarkovsky film, and yeah, this is the one that got me into the whole slow cinema thing. It has interesting enough concepts and enough tension to keep me engaged, while still delivering on the very deliberate pacing and gorgeous visuals.
And my number 94 is the Bionicle trilogy, my first franchise here. I grew up watching these three films. I love each one. I love the characters. Legend of Metro Nui is my favorite of the trilogy. I think it has the best story and like character arcs. They're all solid in their own way. So yeah, no, great nostalgic watch.
Yeah, my 93 is Avatar: The Way of Water. It brings in interesting new characters and ideas that add depth to the world of Avatar while still delivering the classic Avatar feel.
For my number 93, I have The Goonies, just a classic 80s children's adventure film. I love the aesthetic of them going and finding this pirate treasure. A great young cast of like these very talented actors who would go on to do big things like Josh Brolin and Sean Astin. Fun music, fun adventure, lots of great quotes. Good fun time.
So my number 92 is Okja. This is a wild, at times wacky, and at times deadly serious adventure featuring a very lovable giant pig thing.
For my number 92, I have Barbie, the Princess and the Pauper. Because we do binging Barbie, I have to mention one Barbie film. And this was the best one that we experienced for the podcast. Telling the Princess and the Pauper story, of course, but like great music, fun storytelling. Yeah, this is a go to Barbie movie watch, even if you never experienced Barbie.
Yeah, so my number 91 is What Lies Beneath, a really fun thriller with some insane production values.
For my number 91, I have The Amazing Spider Man 2, the second film of Andrew Garfield's Spider Man. This one is one of my favorite Spider-Man films. It was when it came out. I really love the visuals of it. Also, it has like the emotional third act. The music in this is great. Sure, it's a bit wonky in some of its writing, but like stylistically, I think was a better match for Garfield than his first outing.
My number 90 is Brain Dead. To be clear, this is Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. This is a horror comedy that just when you think it can't get any more insane, it somehow does.
And for my number 90, I have Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the classic musical with Gene Wilder as the titular character. I mean, the music itself is iconic. The art direction and visuals are so iconic. Gene Wilder gives this like manic performance that you never know what he's going to do. It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, so my number 89 is Women Talking. This is probably the most I've cried in a movie theater and also made me think for days after I saw it. And very, very good title, very descriptive title.
My number 89 is Fiddler in the Roof, which is probably my favorite musical ever. Like, the story is told through the music. The music itself is very catching. It's a really sad story about tradition and modern thinking coming in. I love the different stage adaptations. This is a solid film. But yeah, it's a really fun one.
Yeah. So my number 88 is Old, which is an incredible film about the horror and beauty of aging, and also the only movie that takes place on the beach that makes you old.
For my number 88, I have Men in Black, a comedy about like aliens and government agents covering up conspiracies. Just a really fun time. I love this world. I wish we could experience more of this world of like men hiding up aliens and just the bureaucracy that goes on behind it.
My 87 is Phantom of the Paradise. This is a campy rock opera with impeccable vibes, great music, tons of fun.
And my 87 is Alien versus Predator. This is the film that introduced me to the world of Alien and Predator. It's just a really fun time. Like, it's not a spectacular crossover, but like, it's so much fun to see these two IPs battle together. And I wish they could use more with this crossover.
My 86 is Rebecca, the Alfred Hitchcock film. This is a gorgeously made thriller benefiting from 10 years and 2 dozen film, or yeah, 10 years and 2 dozens film worth of prior experience that Hitchcock had making other films.
And my number 86 is How to Train Your Dragon, the animated version, the original version. Just a really fun adventure of this underdog learning to view dragon culture differently and gaining a dragon pet and changing his own culture with this. Great music, fun adventure. This is the only one that I liked of the series.
My 85 is Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This is a gorgeous stop motion film. Um, it's a smart and deeply moving update to the classic story.
Continuing on with my DreamWorks section, I from number 85, I have Kung Fu Panda. As a kid, I grew up as this chubby little kid, and so seeing this panda character and relating to his struggles was a lot of fun. Plus, there's a lot of great actions and fun lines and such. It's great.
My number 84 is Mad Max The Road Warrior, or Mad Max 2. This is a near perfect action movie.
For my number 84, I have Megamind, continuing my DreamWorks films. Megamind is this criminally underrated film that has gained a lot of cult followings about a villain succeeding and realizing it's not what he's wanted. Lots of really fun comedy. Will Ferrell as the main protagonist. Lots of twists and turns. Just really memeable stuff.
My number 83 is Crazy, or Crazy. The space oddity scene alone is one of the greatest scenes in anything that I have ever seen.
Not my number 83, which is the final section for DreamWorks, is Shrek. It's Shrek. It's funny. It really changed the perspective of like animated satire, specifically targeting Disney. Um, it does change kids' animation for the worse to some aspect, but this being the first, it does it the best, in my opinion.
My number 82 is The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. It's The Shining. What more do you want me to say?
My number 82 is the original Planet of the Apes. Just a classic uh, film that changes perspectives, just really subtly told this upside down world of apes being the humans and the humans being the apes, with a great twist ending straight out of the Twilight Zone.
My number 81 is the Gus Van Sant film Elephant. This is a difficult yet very fascinating and incredibly well made film about school shootings that avoids feeling sensationalized.
For my number 81, I have Porco Rosso. I just love this seaplane society of these pilots flying around doing shenanigans. It's really cozy and beautiful. This pig doesn't like the Italian fascists. Who can blame him? Yeah, just a really fun adventure.
My number 80 is Swallow. This is a gay horror movie with lots of gross and disturbing stuff, but also moments of tenderness and beauty.
My number 80 is The Iron Giant, a classic nostalgic watch about a kid who befriends a giant weapon. Uh, Lots of fun, nostalgic watch. Yeah.
My number 79 is Panic Room. This is a great thriller with a killer premise and airtight writing.
My number 79 is the Mulan. Honestly, like one of the best girl boss films that just has great characterization, motivation, fun music, just a great scale of adventure.
Now, my number 78, a recent addition to the list, I just recently watched this, is Heavenly Creatures, the Peter Jackson film. It's gorgeous, deeply empathetic, and avoids all of the usual pitfalls of the true crime, quote unquote, genre.
My number 78 is the original Lilo and Stitch, which is one of the first times Disney Animation started doing like modern stuff. Usually they did fairy tales, and this one they went for modern Hawaii, which is a lot of fun. Stitch is just this gremlin of a chaos demon with Lilo, who's not afraid to throw hands. It's very sweet, lots of family stuff. Yeah.
My number 77, speaking of Disney animation, is Bambi. I'm convinced that this is the movie that deer would make about themselves if they could make movies.
My number 77 is Lady and the Tramp. This is what I don't like about Bambi, I love about this. It's a story of these two dogs from different worlds coming together, falling in love. Lots of outdated stuff, but I just felt to be like a really sweet story.
My number 76 is Stranger by the Lake. I'd love to play a point and click mystery game based on this film. That would be fun.
For my number 76, I have my final Disney animated entry, and this is Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Really a mixture of Castle in the Sky and Stargate by an animated form. I love the aesthetic and vibe of it. I think that if we had more of this aesthetic in live action, like it'd be pretty cool. But yeah, this was a really fun one that I wish they did more with.
My number 75, the first Pixar movie on my list, is Toy Story. Really well constructed narrative supporting some groundbreaking animation.
My number 75 is Shin Godzilla. Toho's return to the character after about a decade. That really changes how it views it. It has like the emotional themes and stories that are really personal to Japan at the time. Godzilla, really scary, really freaky, such a unique and different interpretation to what he's done. He's super cool to watch in this one.
My 74 is Bottoms. This is maybe the most that I've left in a theater. Had a great time both times. Actually, all three times that I've seen it in a theater.
For my number 74, I have the Jason Bourne trilogy of the original trilogy with the first three films. And my favorite of this trilogy is the Bourne Identity. Each of them is fun. They kind of screwed up how action films were made, but like these were the best versions of that type of action film.
Yeah, my number 73 is Conclave. This is a very rewatchable drama with some thriller elements. about a papal conclave.
My number 73 is the Ip Man films. This is four films, the story about Ip Man, who's this very powerful martial artist who does a lot of fights, also has like a lot of personal stuff that he has to go through. It's just really fun to watch these characters battle it out.
My number 72 is The Wizard of Oz. Really fun, really colorful music adventure. There's a reason this is as much of a classic as it is.
My number 72 is the John Wick films, chapters 1 through 4. This is just so much fun to watch the choreographed action of John Wick kill guys. There's no story necessary, and it doesn't really have any, but it's just so much fun to watch John Wick beat the crap out of people.
My number 71 is Collective. This is a great harrowing documentary that feels more like a political thriller the way that it is structured and filmed.
My number 71 is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Really just so gosh darn cool. It's the spaghetti western. It's pretty much the best spaghetti western. Clint Eastwood is such a cool guy. Um, yeah, just really cool western stuff that was really much inspired by Kurosawa's samurai films.
My number 70 is House, the Japanese film. Great horror movie with insane and very entertaining stylistic choices throughout.
My number 70 is Justice League The Flashpoint Paradox. I think this is the best animated film involving the Flash that DC has done. Just a really fun concept that I like the Ultimate Universes. I like the different view of Batman. I think the thread is pretty great. I wish that the different live action interpretations would do the story justice, but this is all we get for now.
Yeah, my number 69 is The Northman, a Viking epic grounded in the traditions and brutality of that culture.
And my number 69 is The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Just a fun detective mystery that brings Batman back to this dark imagery, brings like a much more quote unquote realistic, grounded portrayal of the character, with the return of Riddler being this scary antagonist. Lots of fun. Can't wait for the sequel.
My number 68 is Go West. This stars Buster Keaton and the most adorable cow who ever existed. Need I say more?
My number 68 is Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I just love the visuals of this. I love the comic accuracy of the costumes and the action. Sure, the story needs a lot of work, but yeah, but I'm just here for the visuals and the action. And yeah, no, it's the closest to a comic book accurate look that we've experienced with these films.
My number 67 is Cabaret. This captures the shift from the Weimar Republic into the Nazi era in Germany through a very unique lens.
My number 67 is the 1978 Superman film starring Christopher Reeve. I think Christopher Reeve is just the perfect actor for Superman. He does this fantastic portrayal that separates Superman and Clark Kent and just balances the two out so perfectly well. This is iconic for a reason, visually, musically. Could it be a little bit better with some action? Sure, but I like the simplicity of this.
My number 66 is Wally. This is the pinnacle of the classic Pixar era, in my opinion. There's a reason that this is the one that is in the Criterion collection.
My number 66 is Predator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is the first forego into the world of the Predator franchise. This one is one of my favorites, if not my favorite of that series. Just really cool, tough guy action, cheesy. The Predator looks cool. Fun time.
My number 65 is I Killed My Mother. This is an incredibly well made and honest debut from a 19-year-old director at the time.
My number 65 is 10 Cloverfield Lane. This is a film that I knew nothing about going into it and I thought was really cool. I like the limited cast, the tight space that we're stuck in. I love the feeling, the overall vibes, and I really liked the ending and the quote unquote twist that it has.
My number 64 is Free Solo, the documentary. It's just absolutely fascinating with some very harrowing climbing sequences.
My number 64 is A Shot in the Dark, the second of the Pink Panther films. This one's my favorite of that series. This one's not even a Pink Panther film. The writer uh, had a play, a mystery, and then they thought, what if I put Crusoe in it? And it's just a really fun comedic time that made me laugh out loud at several moments.
My number 63 is Tokyo Godfathers. This is one of my absolute favorite Christmas movies. More on that later. A little bit of foreshadowing.
For my number 63, I have Toy Story through 2. I love these first two films. This one was my favorite to rewatch. I love the role reversal, the way the characters go, the new added characters. Um, just yeah, lots of fun times.
My number 62 is Blood, Tea, and Red String. This is a gorgeously creepy little stop motion fairy tale. Highly recommend if you enjoy stop motion.
My number 62 is Pee Wee's Big Adventure. This is one of the few films that I think is an underappreciated masterpiece. It's just Pee Wee Herman going on this adventure to get his stolen bike back. The adventure is wacky, out there, weird, and funny. I watched this a lot as a kid, and it's so nostalgic. Um, it is so much fun.
My number 61 is The Shape of Water. Weird, wonderful, and moving film.
My number 61 is Back to the Future, the first one. Just fun time travel antics, just very classic, very memorable. The music is iconic. Um, Time travel rules maybe don't exactly make the most sense here, but it doesn't matter. It's just a fun time to experience.
My number 60 is Yentl. I know that Barbara was too old for the part as written, but I'm so glad she played it. And also that she directed this.
My number 60 is the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, this film understood the assignment of doing a live action adaptation. I feel like it perfectly captures the turtles' serious side with their comedic side. The look of the suits is fantastic. They do a really good job with the action. This is iconic and stands up the test of time for Turtles fans for a reason.
My number 59 is High and Low. Um, Really, really rock solid thriller. The first hour in particular is absolutely impeccable.
My number 59 is Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Just a fun animated Batman film, often regarded as the best. I like BTAS, so seeing BTAS with a higher budget is great. I love the Joker especially, so his scenes were so fun to experience, and yeah, just really epic in its own way.
My number 58 is Kiki's Delivery Service. It's very on brand that Miyazaki tried to teach his animators a better work life balance by making them make a movie about it.
My number 58 is Justice League Doom, which is one of my favorite Justice League stories where Batman's contingency plans for them goes into the hands of the villains, and so they have to like figure stuff out. It's great. It's emotional. I love the voice cast. I love like the overall animation and look of these characters. It's very underrated, but it's a fantastic one.
My number 57 is Doctor Sleep. My favorite thing about Flanagan's horror in general, and this film specifically, is how it deals more in melancholy and tragedy than in fear.
My number 57 is The Death of Superman, an adaptation that I felt did a much better job than their Doomsday film a few years earlier. It's nonstop action. The fighting is great. It was everything that I wanted in an adaptation. It featured the Justice League going against Doomsday. Even has like a really sweet romance in it as well. Has time for that. So yeah, pretty effective film.
My number 56 is The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just pure camp. See it in a theater with a shadow cast if you can.
My number 56 is Batman The Long Halloween Parts 1 and 2. Just a great adaptation. It does take some liberties with the story and mystery, but I felt like the changes themselves were like really solid, really well done. Yeah, no, it's a really good one. I think it's the best of this Tomorrowverse films. It stands alone, animation pretty solid, decent interpretation of these characters, and also really good for a black and white watch.
My number 55 is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, a 3 hour thriller so perfectly paced, specifically the Fincher version, I should say. You don't realize how long it is.
My number 55 is Batman Return of the Cake Crusaders. This is a really fun film for those who grew up watching the 60s Batman TV show, which I did. I had a really fun time watching this with my mom, who we both grew up watching this show. A lot of fun callbacks, really fun animation. Great to see Adam West and Burt Ward be these characters for a couple last times, and yeah, just really fun and campy.
My number 54 is Henry Gamble's Birthday Party. Just a film full of very well observed characters.
My number 54 is The Emperor's New Groove. Just a fun and wild time. So much witticism, so much comedy. It's so fast paced. It's enjoyable. The animation itself, I love it. So many iconic characters, quotable lines. Um, a bit of like a wild and hectic making of, but like the end product is like so unique and really stands out.
My number 53 is The Village. It has its rough spots, but it's so profound and beautiful overall.
My number 53 is The Incredibles, which is probably my favorite Pixar film. I love the superhero genre, and their take in this film was fantastic. Kind of the best version of the Fantastic Four, unfortunately. But it has great themes, great music, interesting characters, and action, and yeah, fun time.
My number 52 is Hannah, the Joe Wright film. This is What If Jason Bourne was a 13-year-old Saoirse Ronan?
My number 52 is The Truman Show, a film that gets more and more relevant each day as we get closer and closer to this reality where we essentially live this story with live streaming. Um, just great themes, a profound quote unquote mystery for this character to figure out, and just a harrowing journey of him just overcoming trauma and getting to his end point.
My number 51 is Run Lola Run. Great editing, great music, and a really good premise.
And my 51 is the 1954 Godzilla film. Just like a fantastic film with like a powerful message and great theming for the atomic bomb and age, and just the big start for the kaiju series of films, creating this iconic, powerful monster. Um, it still stands the test of time of being one of the best, if not the best, of the entire franchise. Yeah, great one.
My number 50 is Jaws. It's Jaws. What else do you want me to say?
My number 50 is Rashomon, a Akira Kurosawa film that tells different perspectives of the story. Just like great filmmaking that really inspired so many genre films and just stories of this similar type. It's a great basic watch to go through.
So my number 49 is My Neighbor Totoro. This makes me smile so much that it hurts every time I watch it.
My number 49 is Beauty and the Beast, the original 90s Disney animated film. Just beautiful animation, fantastic storytelling, music so catching. Honestly, it's the best animated film that Disney has out there. Doesn't compare.
Yeah, my number 48 is Wake Up Dead Man. Any of the Knives Out movies could have been here. I find this one in particular, though, very profound.
My number 48 is Alfred Hitchcock's Rear Window. This is one of my favorites of his filmmakings. I love that it's just told from this one room and perspective, and we get to see the story told through the binoculars, the camera, a very stationary spot with limited view, and a very interesting mystery told around from that.
My number 47 is Pink Narcissus. This is a beautiful work of underground queer cinema from, a very, very different era.
My number 47 is North by Northwest, another Hitchcock classic. Just this fun adventure of this person who doesn't know what's going on, goes on this adventure, gets roped into this secret conspiracy, and he has to try and clear his name while also um, trying to save the day. Very similar to 39 Steps.
Yeah, my number 46 is Mean Girls. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. What more is there to say?
For me, for my number 46, I have 12 Angry Men. Just a really solidly written script, well paced. I did a version of this in high school theater, so I have a personal connection to that, but just a really compelling story and watch.
Yeah, my number 45 is The Squid and the Whale. If I had to describe this very briefly, I would say that it is very Baumbach esque. Joke that you may get if you have actually seen the film.
My number 45 is Home Alone. Just a really fun Christmas story of this kid home alone, setting traps for bad guys, learning to love his family, and growing up and being on his own. A Christmas classic.
Yeah, my number 44 is Cabin in the Woods, a fun horror parody that takes things to an 11 in the final act.
My number 44 is The Terminal, a story about this man who has to be stuck inside an airport terminal until he's able to leave or go back home. I can relate to being in the airport so much. I love Hanks's performance and his very charming character.
My number 43 is Signs. Anyone that is who is angry that I have this on my list needs to just calm down and eat some fruit or something.
Moving on to number 43, we start to enter the heartbreaking films. Here we have Saving Private Ryan, another Tom Hanks classic of the soldiers going on this rescue mission to find Private Ryan, saving him, bringing him back home. It's war, so it's brutal. It's sad to see characters come and go. But it is one of the most effective and well shot World War II films.
My number 42 is Little Shop of Horrors. Howard Ashman, he's great musician, great storyteller, and also the ending of the director's cut. I highly recommend the director's cut. Just so.
My number 42 is Grave of the Fireflies. Just a very tragic tale of these two war orphans trying to survive, barely really surviving at all, with tragic situations going on based upon a lot of real life stuff. Um, one of the one of the saddest and hardest hitting Ghibli film out there.
Yeah, my number 41 is Casablanca. It's always nice to watch a classic film and genuinely love it, and that was my experience with this one.
For my number 41, I have Schindler's List, one of Spielberg's masterpieces. Just a really heartbreaking film and story, once again, based upon real life situations. Really difficult to like rewatch, but it's such a powerful story and something that almost everyone should experience at least once.
My number 40, I have Wolfwalkers, or no, sorry, I have Memento. This is a clever little neo noir with an incredible gimmick at its center. The editing decision that they make is very clever.
My number 40 is another Akira Kurosawa film called Ikaru, a man who realizes he's going to die and has to like come to terms with that while realizing I've not really done much with my life. And so just the final moments of a man doing the best he can to like giving a lasting legacy for something that takes a turn in the second half with a story structure change.
Yeah, my number 39 is Hellbound, Hellraiser 2. This is everything that I wanted the first Hellraiser to be, plus everything that I thought worked very well from the first one. So many good matte paintings. I love the matte paintings.
For my number 39, I have Apollo 13, based upon the real Apollo 13 incident of these astronauts being stuck in space trying to find their way back home. Once again, Tom Hanks brings in a great performance with his character. Just a really great feel good movie that looks good, and it's just a really solid tale.
Yeah, my number 38, I have Pride, the 2013 or 14, I believe, film. This is the kind of ensemble film where everyone gets a bit of an arc and a moment to shine. It's just very sweet and fun.
My number 38 is Catch Me If You Can, a really fun cat and mouse film with Tom Hanks going against Leonardo DiCaprio, trying to catch him, bringing him home. Lots of fun scenarios that happen, really fun history of filmmaking as well, behind the scenes and what's true and what's not true. But overall, a really fun, jazzy time.
My number 37 is X2, X Men United, the best superhero movie ever made. I really love this one. Great character writing and just such a rich tapestry of things going on.
My number 37 going into the franchise section of this. I have the Harry Potter films, so 8 films. I love like the Wizarding World. It's so much fun and magical, especially in the early films, but it's the story of this bright world getting darker and darker with each film, ending up with its darkest stuff. Lots of fun, iconic, memorable characters, fun world. My favorite of these films is The Prisoner of Azkaban, which is very different in how it handles this world than the others. Yeah.
My number 36 is The Fountain, the oh, why am I blanking? Darren Aronofsky, his film. Um, yeah, Clint Mansell does the score here. Incredible score. Obviously, the rest of the movie is great, but the score in particular.
For my number 36, I had the Pirates of the Caribbean films, specifically the first initial trilogy. I just love the pirates. I think the aesthetic of the pirates for this film just is so iconic, and honestly my favorite aesthetic for pirates in general. David Jones, Barbossa, great iconic villains that really still look good to this day.
Yeah, my number 35 is Lady Bird. Like with a lot of Greta Gerwig films, each character, each side character is treated with such empathy and given such a full characterization.
For my number 35, I have Logan. What was a fantastic send off for the character of Logan and specifically Hugh Jackman's portrayal. Just this very emotional, kind of modern Western take of the character that's so unique compared to everything else that had come before it. And really kind of a standout for the superhero genre of its time. The black and white version is really fun looking one as well, but yeah, really, really good.
My number 34 is Suspiria, the Luca Guadagnino remake. Just to list out some things this has Dakota Johnson, Witches, Tilda Swinton, Dancing, Mia Goth, Tilda Swinton again, Brutal Violets, Jessica Harper, Tilda Swinton again.
For my number 34, I have X Men Days of Future Past, which is pretty much my favorite X Men film. I love the combination of the two casts. It made me care for the other half. It's just a really fun story, great time travel stuff. Just really fun to see all these characters in one big film. Great stakes. Yeah, just a really solid time.
For my number 33, I have The Prestige, the Christopher Nolan film. This is the rare twist movie that works even better watching it a second time. There's such depth to the characterization once you know what exactly is going on.
For my number 33, I have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which accompanies too many films and TV shows. For this list, I'm specifically focusing on the Infinity Saga, so phases 1 through 3, beginning with Iron Man, ending off with Endgame. Of these films, I really like the Iron Man, the Avengers, the Captain America characters and stories. I like superheroes. These helped like bring popularity to the superhero genre. Maybe there's too many now, but at the time, again, they're still a fun watch either way.
My number 32, switching places where with which what I originally had here, Memento, which is why I mixed up, is Wolfwalkers. This is Cartoon Saloon at their very best. Gorgeous animation, very touching story.
My number 32 is the Planet of the Apes trilogy from the 2010s. Honestly, the best trilogy that came out of the 2010s. Just this really great story about the rise and fall of Caesar the ape, the rise, creation of the Planet of the Apes as they gain intelligence, take over the world, wipe out humanity. Um, just fantastic technology achievement, great performance by Andy Serkis, and just a really solid emotional world.
Yeah, my number 31 is Mary Poppins. Um, just an absolute classic for a very good reason. This is just a very full film.
My number 31 is Spider Man Into the Spider Verse, another top tier Spider Man film that kind of introduced, unfortunately to some people, the multiverse into a mainstream cinema. I was really excited when it was introduced here. I agree there's perhaps too many unsuccessful versions that maybe don't understand how to do it properly. I felt that this one did a really great job. I love the different animation, and once again, unfortunately, it's been copycat to death. But this one, still by itself, is a really great one.
My number 30 is Coraline. Just great stop motion film with incredible vibes, both the sort of melancholy boredom of the beginning and then the creepiness as we get further into it.
My number 30 is the anime film Look Back, which is really tragic and emotional, one that personally affected me. I have found personal connections to the story and the tragedy. One that really affected me to the core when I watched it, and it was my favorite of the 2024 year. Fantastic animation, very emotional. Um, yeah, I think it's Fujimoto's best work.
Yeah, for my number 29, I have Blade Runner, the original. Yeah, just this film that spawned the cyberpunk genre in many ways. And the Vangelis score is just gorgeous. I love the score.
For my number 29, I have a Makoto Shikai film with Your Name. Just this fantastic romance of these two people trying to find each other, discovering their name with a unique uh, sci-fi twist put into it. Yeah, definitely his most popular work. Yeah, just really beautiful animation, gorgeous cinematography. Yeah,
My number 28 is The Miseducation of Cameron Post. I will admit I took the wrong side in the great Cameron Post versus Boy Erased War of 2018. This is by far the better film of the two. Rewatching it, just very complex in a way that the other one, the memoir Boy Erased, really really good. The movie not quite as good. Cameron Post is the better of the two movies.
my number 28 is A Silent Voice, another anime film, this one directed by Naoko Yamada. I love redemptive stories about characters wanting to better themselves, especially characters who were kind of antagonists or bullies in the past. So this one being this harrowing story, going into very deep and complex emotions, very unique set of characters, beautiful animation. Yeah, just really a fun emotional time.
Yeah. My number 27 is Memoria, the Apichat Pongwiris ethical film. Um, Joe, Tilda, Columbia, the wildest twist in the history of slow cinema. What isn't there to love?
For my number 27, I have Godzilla minus one. One of the best Godzilla movies out there that redefined what Godzilla storytelling can be. It's really the best human plotline for a Godzilla film. Most of them are just okay or are subpar. This one connected the monster of Godzilla to the personal journey of our protagonist in such a beautiful, fantastic way. Also, the first timepiece era film. I look forward to the sequel. I'm concerned what will happen to our characters, but yeah, this one just came out of nowhere and just really knocked the world of Godzilla.
My number 26 is Buster Keaton's Sherlock Jr. Pause this right now and go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's only 45 minutes long, stuffed to the gill with laughs. You'll have a great time. Sherlock Jr.
My number six is the Karate Kid trilogy. Yeah, no, after watching Cobra Kai, the trilogy just so much fun. I love this underdog story of this kid learning karate, learning to just be better at life. I love the relationship between Miyagi and our character. Yeah, fun karate action, fun music, great life lessons and themes. Really fun time. Also, check out Cobra Kai if you haven't seen it. It's the best soap opera in the world.
My number 5 is Amelie. This is a really great balance of odd and sweet, with just a little side of darkness to balance it all out.
My number 25 is Star Wars. No, is Rogue One a Star Wars story? Uh, the best of the anthology films, the two films that they made. I love seeing the modern take of the original trilogy. The filmmaking was great. I like these characters. I thought the story was great. I think that watching Andor really amplifies the stakes and the journey of this film even better. Even just the filmmaking, everything looks so cool, looks so good. I had a really fun time. It's my favorite of the Disney films so far.
Yeah, my number 24 is Donnie Darko. This one is just, I recently saw this in a theater. It is so much funnier and more entertaining than pretty much any other of the quote unquote puzzle box movies. I've heard bad things about the director's cut. The theatrical cut is a great time.
My number 24 is the Mission Impossible franchise with Tom Cruise, spanning about 8 films. I just love this genre of spies and taking down, going on these heists and trying to save the day with these impossible missions. Honestly, it's the Tom Cruise stunts that really sell this. Each new one keeps trying to up the ante, up the visual aesthetic and language, and there's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, my number 23 is The Silence of the Lambs. Um, Great movie. Recommend it with some nice fava beans and a nice Chianti.
My number 23 is the movie Twister. It's the film that made me fall in love with tornadoes or weather in general. Yeah, no, it's a really fun time. It's really fun to see the tornadoes going around doing the damage. I like this journey, these chasers trying to do science with it, while also dealing with marital issues. I watched this a lot as a kid, and had so much fun with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 22 is Parasite. Um, Two of my best favorite theatrical experiences that I've ever had. The first time seeing it and experiencing it in a theater, and then later watching it with an auditorium full of people who hadn't seen it yet and listening and seeing them experience for the first time.
My number 22 is My Little Pony Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks, which is such a wild card of a film that I'm always surprised wherever I put it on this list. Because, like, I feel like it could even go in the top 10 at times. It's, like, so random at why I enjoy this film so much. I love the music, I love the look of this film. It really, yeah, it really hits everything that I want for some reason. um, but yeah, no, it's so much fun.
My number 21 is Princess Mononoke. Just an incredible Miyazaki film. Great theatrical experience if you get the chance. The IMAX re-release last year was just incredible, and it's so much more complex and nuanced than a lot of other environmental films tend to be.
My number 21 is Akira Kurosawa's Yojimbo. This is the film that was remade and copied into A Fistful of Dollars. I think that this is the better version of that story. It's my favorite of Toshiro Mifune's films of his acting career. It's great for samurai. I could really see how it translates well into the spaghetti western. It's just so cool. It's gosh darn cool and fun, and just I love it.
Yeah, my number 20 is GBF. This is my Mean Girls. Like Mean Girls is also my Mean Girls, but this is my Mean Girls.
My number 20 is Quentin Tarantino's Inglorious Bastards. I think this is his masterpiece. It's a fun alternate reality of World War II. Of what if these things happened? It's crazy. It's fun. It is terrifying. It is emotional. It is so many things. So well shot. It's risky with its use of like subtitles, especially we don't really care for subtitles. But it is well worth watching.
My number 19 is The Grand Budapest Hotel. It's such a delightful film. This is my favorite Wes Anderson. Just so perfectly constructed, and the emotions of it are very gorgeous.
My number 19 is another Makoto Shinkai film, Weathering with You. It was my first non Ghibli anime film that I experienced. I love the story. I love the animation and the overall look of this. I specifically love how I couldn't tell where the story was going. It was going through multiple genres. And I love the ending and how the stakes actually took in this.
My number 18 is The Talented Mr. Ripley. This is just an incredible film. I support gay rights, but more importantly, I support gay wrongs. That's my feelings on this film.
My number 18 is Spider Man 2 of the Sam Raimi trilogy. My favorite of the trilogy. Honestly, just a gorgeous looking film. It feels like you're watching a Spider Man story from the comics, and they're recreating classic shots. I love Doc Ock in this. I specifically love the puppetry of his arms. I think the story of Spider-Man here makes more sense as I'm becoming an adult and realizing anxiety is a thing to deal with. Um, it's so much fun. I think it's the best of that trilogy, and yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, my number 17 is Little Women. Much like with Lady Bird, Greta Gerwig shows so much empathy for all of the characters, even the ones who only show up for a few scenes. There's some really great emotional moments.
My number 17 is the Tim Burton Batman film. Just really fun, classic film that kind of changed cinema's perspective of the character, taking it more seriously. I think it is the best looking Batman film. It translates so well into watching it in black and white. It's so gorgeous, oozing with atmosphere. I love this version of the Joker, my favorite live action interpretation. The music, oh, it's so iconic. Yeah, no, just a great one.
Yeah, my number 16 is The Matrix. Yeah, it's The Matrix. What more do you want me to say? It's The Matrix.
My number 16 is a DC animated film, Batman Under the Red Hood. Uh, One of the best DC animated films out there. The story of this story is pretty sad. This Robin dying, and we're getting this Red Hood mystery coming in. Yeah, it's a great starter film for those who want to get into the DC animated films.
My number 15 is Sunshine, Danny Boyle's Sunshine. Um, I love this kind of sci fi space film, especially when it lets itself get really weird in the third act.
My number 15 is another DC animated film, Batman The Dark Knight Returns, parts 1 and 2. This is an adaptation of the Frank Miller comic, and it's a fantastic one at that. I think it's one of their best animated films from animation wise. I think that it's a fantastic story. It looks cool. It's interesting. Honestly, a lot of Snyder's visual aesthetic can be taken from the comic and even just this overall Miller aesthetic.
Yeah, my number 14 is James Cameron's Titanic. This is a good romance movie, immediately followed by an incredible disaster movie that is so much more emotionally affecting because we have had that romance built up in the first half.
My number 14 is Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai, one of the most influential films in cinema. Um, our modern directors' favorite films are usually Seven Samurai. You can really feel it with Spielberg or Lucas, even with Dave Filoni right now. Yeah, a lot of like classic elements that we know today can be found with this film and Kurosawa's films in general. Just a great epic of a story, a traditional 3 act structure. It's a long film, but like it's really well paced and yeah, just a great action in general. Just fantastic samurai stuff. It's a go to samurai film. I'd hope so.
Yeah, my number 13 is Ghost in the Shell. I can't claim to fully understand this film, but each time I rewatch it, and I do rewatch it every once in a while, I grasp a little bit more of it.
My number 13 is Whisper of the Heart, which is my favorite Studio Ghibli film. I watched this at the perfect time in my life as I could easily connect to the character struggles and emotions, and I found it very helpful for my decisions that I had to make at that point as well. Even still today, it's like a very fun slice of life journey of discovering creativity and purpose.
My number 12 is The Company of Wolves. This is a very underseen film, a dark fairy tale with some gnarly werewolf transformations, fascinating themes, and just incredibly gorgeous production design.
My number 12 is the MonsterVerse Godzilla films, with the 2014 Godzilla, the King of the Monsters from 2019, and Godzilla versus Kong from 2021. This is the first film is really what got me into Godzilla in the first place. I got to experience it in the theater, and I thought the scale was great. Each new film kind of got worse in the writing department, but like it's still so cool to watch Godzilla do action and just do Godzilla stuff, and that's what I love about this. I guess you could call it a guilty pleasure, but nah, it's just cool.
My number 11 is Spirited Away, just missing out on the top 10 here. Yeah, it's Spirited Away. What more do you want me to say?
Yeah, and also just missing out on the top 10 for me is the Indiana Jones quadrilogy, specifically the films done by Steven Spielberg. I love this character. I love this adventure serial world. I even like Crystal Skull. I like the visuals. They all look really good in black and white. Yeah, no, just a really fun time. Iconic visuals, iconic musical, iconic cinematic character. Just a really fun time.
Oh, yeah, now it's into our top 10s here. My number 10 is Fargo. Oh, you betcha this was going to make my top 10. I love this film, this crime, drama, thriller, comedy, dark comedy, with some just fantastic characters and incredible writing. I mean, it's, for me, my favorite of the Coen brothers. It does so well everything that they do well as directors and as writers. Yeah, just Fargo. What else is there to say?
For my number 10, I have the Rocky franchise, the six films, starting from Rocky to Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I like this for multiple reasons, not just because it's like a boxing thing, so you have these cool boxing action. I like the story of this underdog learning about love, being just a really nice guy, a person you want to strive to be. His workout routines make you want to work out. I like watching these films through the perspective of Sylvester Stallone's career, as each film kind of represents a different era of his life, going up to the end of the last one where he's past his prime, just going out loud to prove that he still can. Yeah, it's a great emotional watch. I think everybody should watch it just for like some feel good stuff, or even if you just like action.
Yeah, my number 9 is E.T. the Extraterrestrial. We talked about this a bit when we did our recent Steven Spielberg tier list that I recommend people go and check out. This is the first time that he's been mentioned on this list. Yeah, for me, it's just, I didn't realize when I watched this the most recent time how much I had come to care for these characters until they were put in peril in sort of the last third. Yeah, it touched me very deeply on an emotional level.
My number 9 is Christopher Nolan's Inception. Just a really fun film full of dreams, action, cool cinematography, visuals, and directions. I like the story. I like the music especially. Um, we've talked about this film so many times on our podcasts, our different podcasts. So go check those out at some point. But yeah, this is a go-to introductory film for Nolan. Um, yeah, no, just a really great one.
Yeah, my number 8 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This kind of takes everything that I loved about like the 2000s indie coming of age movies, plus everything that I love about like Speed Racer, the sort of maximalist, colorful, weird approach to filmmaking. And it just kind of blends it together into this perfect package, along with just an incredible soundtrack, fun action scenes. This is a great time.
My number 8 is Forrest Gump. I think it's my favorite Tom Hanks film. I just love Forrest Gump as a character. I just love his simple goals in life and the simple loves that he has. I relate to him in so many ways. I aspire to be just a person who just doesn't have so much hate, enjoys life as it comes. Um, yeah, lots of really fun history things in this. Lots of really emotional stuff. Um, yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, my number 7 is The Power of the Dog. Great film by Jane Campion. And it's a film that trusts the audience to be able to piece things together for themselves. and to understand based on the information that is provided who these characters are. It's absolutely fascinating. I highly recommend it to pretty much everyone. It is dark, but it is also very watchable.
My number seven is Interstellar, another Christopher Nolan film. It's the first Christopher Nolan film I watched in theaters because it was a Nolan film. I love space. I love space adventure. This one scratched that itch for me. I love the different worlds. I love the time dilation aspect. I love the visuals. I even like the third act and that ending and the weirdness of all that. I think it's got some great themes, great directions. It is one of my favorites of his that's not part of a franchise. Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, my number six is an absolute classic. It's a Wonderful Life. As I alluded to before, this is my favorite Christmas film. Rewatch it every year with my dad. Makes me cry pretty much every time that I rewatch it. Just very touching film.
And my number six is Ridley Scott's Alien. I love the Alien franchise, but this first film in particular is my favorite. I love the slower atmosphere. I love just the aesthetic that Ridley has for this world in general, this lived in world. I love just the blue collar workers just dealing with this alien on their ship. I love the design of everything, the atmosphere. The alien itself was just a great menacing villain. The music itself, all phenomenal. I like this slower pace. I mean, I love Aliens as well with its faster pace, but the slower pace was just perfect for my sensibilities and this quote unquote horror thriller element.
Yeah, so my number five is The Princess Bride. Yeah, it's just so good. It's a really fun, really funny fantasy adventure film. One of the most quotable movies ever made. Just so many great scenes. Yeah, it's incredible. It's really good.
For my number five, I have The Dark Knight. Um, my favorite live action Batman film, my favorite Christopher Nolan film. Honestly, the three that I have in this top 10 is just interchangeable three, but this is one that I rewatched the most. Just great performances, great action, visuals, so many fun scenes. I can quote a lot of stupid dialogue from this. You have this very powerful performance by Heath Ledger as the Joker. Um, it's the best of that trilogy for sure. Kind of changed some aspects of things. At least it took superhero films seriously in the 2000s. But yeah, no, it's a really fantastic one.
Yeah. My number four is I saw the TV Glow, the Jane Schoenbrunn film. This is just a film that I is on the perfect wavelength for me. The pacing, the editing, the tone, the style, everything just matches up somehow for me in a way that, yeah, this is one that I have rewatched quite a few times and just has stuck with me.
My number four is Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg's masterpiece outside of Schindler's List, same years, by the way. Um, yeah, no, I watched this a lot growing up because I thought dinosaurs were cool. I rewatched this a lot today because I think the overall theme, messaging, and story is really cool. I still like the dinosaurs, but that's not the reason I keep coming back to this one. Yeah, I love the filmmaking aspect of this. I love the look of the dinosaurs, the history of VFX, even just the foundational, even just the phenomenal um, practical effects. Like the T Rex looks so gorgeous, and also just a phenomenal black and white watch as well.
Yeah, my number three is Mad Max Fury Road. I did have Mad Max the Road Warrior earlier on this list. I would say that one is, one of the greatest action films of all time. 5 out of 5 stars. It makes Fury Road makes it look like a rough draft. Fury Road is just it speaks for itself. Seriously, pause this video or this podcast wherever you're watching or listening. Go watch Mad Max Fury Road right now. You'll understand why it makes my top three here.
My number three is the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Just like the best trilogy of the 2000s, just three perfect movies. I view them as one gigantic story. I love them so much. I can rewatch them at any point. I could rewatch it multiple times a year if you asked me to. Just great cinematography, filmmaking, music, everything, everything, everything. It is. I feel like it's the best that we've experienced of this world so far cinematically. And yeah, no, it's just so much fun to watch.
Yeah, my number two is The Tale of the Princess Kaguya. This is Isao Takahata's final film, and I mean, what a film! It is about life and the beauty and the tragedy of life, and it's just so gorgeous, and the animation is next level. Great film.
My number two is Star Wars: The Original Trilogy. This is the one that really got the space action, fantasy, sci-fi opera going. Um, just a classic tale of good versus evil. The big corrupt empire versus the ragtag group of rebellion fighters. I love what this does for cinema history. I love so much visuals, so much locations, so many of the characters. It's iconic in so many different ways. The music, I love the music. The music is phenomenal. It's Star Wars. There's so much I could say, but you should know by now.
Yeah, my number one, now top of the list here, is The Lord of the Rings. I am putting all three movies in one spot because otherwise these would be my top three, and that takes up a few too many spots in the list. Yeah, no, this series encapsulates almost everything that I want to see from cinema. The range of emotions, of tone, the epic scope, the filmmaking techniques. It all comes together for something that is so beautiful and so well made, and that transcends the medium. Um, yeah, no, I love these films.
And for my number one, I have Star Wars: The Prequel Trilogy. This is the world that introduced me to Star Wars. I love the visuals the most. This is my favorite era. I think the world of this era is just phenomenal and creative. Can the story and the writing be a little rocky at times? Sure, but I can look past that. It gave us like phenomenal visuals. The lightsaber fights were just so different and top notch and extremely choreographed. Um, just this story of the downfall of this young man becoming evil, the downfall of the Republic, the rise of the Empire. I mean, yeah, no, again, it's Star Wars. Like, you could say everything about Star Wars. Um, it's my personal favorite films. I love them. I rewatch them all the time. And yeah, 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 yeah. 200
Yeah,
films.
200.
Yeah,
We made it through.
we went through this faster than I expected. I thought this take a 3 hours to do, but yeah. Well, before we get into our final overall thoughts about this list and each other's lists, I think there's a friend of ours who has something to say.
Oh,
Yes, I have a few things to say. Hi, I'm Christopher. I like to talk about some movies with both Mr. JPL and Mr. J. I'm gonna take a look at the movies that they talked about and give a couple thoughts. I see that they both love Lord of the Rings so much that they can't, you know, say you take that or I'll, you know, whatever. That's a little selfish. I we're supposed to be a little more individualistic. I guess if the only one that they're sharing, I guess that's honestly pretty impressive out of the list 100 films. But still, I think that the battle between Mr. JPL and Mr. J of who would take Lord of the Rings would have been very interesting. I would have really loved to see a victor um, in that battle. I was looking at Mr. JPL's one and two. Number one being the prequels, number two being the originals of Star Wars. I kind of didn't know that about him. I mean, I guess I kind of assume there's a lot of purists who would have to say originals are better than the prequels because the prequels have enough moments in them that aren't strong. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of the movies in general, I don't know. I feel like there's a little more consistency in the originals. But also, I do love Revenge of the Sith. That is my favorite Star Wars film, and so bunching that with the prequels, I guess that can take the cake. I thought it was interesting. Mr. JPL put the Marvel Cinematic Universe as one category, which was done for a lot of these films, like Lord of the Rings is one slot, prequels is a slot. Man, the MCU is one slot, with 30 plus films or whatever. Man, that's a lot. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I would put like Iron Man and Infinity War pretty up there for me, but maybe not as much for me to be like the MCU. I don't know. I definitely I do understand the fact of bunching up some of these series to give room for other movies, like looking at Mr. JPL's number 100 Nacho Libre. If he put in a handful of MCU films, Nacho Libre wouldn't be on the list, and how appalling that would be. I definitely know for me, like I probably would have said like Iron Man, not the Iron Man films or the MCU. I guess that's just me, right? But it's also interesting kind of considering the fact like there's the Dark Knight. I understand that's the standout of the three films, but not Dark Knight trilogy. And then I see Alien here, which I think is interesting because he has Alien listed, and then later he has listed Alien and Predator, but then also there's the singular Predator film. Um, I can definitely understand a lot of people really like the original Alien film, but also a lot of people love the second Aliens film. I don't know. It's not necessarily that it's confusing. It's not necessarily that it's contradicting. It's just interesting. I definitely know there's a lot of Batman animated films that have released that have existed. I like seeing the Japanese cinema representation in John's list. There's definitely a few things in John's list I wonder. Again, I did not hear their specific thoughts, but I guess like seeing like Mission Impossible listed, is that the singular movie? Is that the series? I mean, some things like Harry Potter, Pirates. I guess that's somewhat obvious. Those are relating to the series, but yeah. Then again, I'm a little outside of the situation, so I don't know the case about Mission Impossible. I guess one movie I'm a little surprised that's not really bunched into a series is Toy Story 2. Because I just see that noted singularly. I don't know. I know people love the trilogy, the original trilogy as a whole. Um, I don't know John's specific thoughts on the movies individually or as the trilogy or as the quad. So definitely thought that was interesting. I do really like the original trilogy, though it's been a while since I've seen them, but I do like them quite a bit. One thing I just noticed is interesting is that Jay has Toy Story on his list, so that may have been a little bit of splitting of maybe Jay liked the first Toy Story more, and JPL liked second Toy Story more, so split that not to have stuff. Sorry, that was very explanatory, but hopefully you understand what I meant. Well, it was just more relating to like how a lot of John's stuff is like a series in one slot. So I guess that couldn't happen. Again, it's amazing to me when I look at these lists and just how many movies I've not seen. And I've seen close to 1,000 films. I don't know exactly, 900 to 1,000 is my guess off the top of my head. There's still so many films I've not yet seen. So many films I do want to see. I think it's interesting, like, especially if I'm trying to zone into like their top tens. Like, I definitely know that these fellow friends of mine have, favorite films, but it's not often I just like look at their favorite films. And it's very just interesting because I guess maybe I didn't remember the fact that like Scott Pilgrim is one of Jay's favorite films, or honestly, Forrest Gump and one of JPL's favorite films in their top 10. Like, just things that I guess I hadn't thought about or recognized. Just interesting. It's not necessarily to say that it doesn't make sense. It's just like not something I often think about, I guess, because definitely like JPL, I don't think about like Star Wars or Jay, I think about Mad Max Fury Road. but then I forget about like some of the other films that they do really love. One thing I thought was interesting in Jay's list is that he has Avatar: The Way of Water. Not the first Avatar. I don't remember his thoughts super specifically about one. I don't know. I definitely know I like the first one probably the most out of the three. Um, but still, I still think it's cool. I just thought it was just interesting. Jay has Wally at number 66. Uh, Personally, respectfully, I think it's a little low, but it is what it is. Um, but there were definitely a couple of films looking at the list that I guess maybe I'm a little surprised or maybe wish I kind of saw was there, or I don't know. These are definitely films that I like a lot. And so again, just as much as like Wally is at Jay's 66, I would have it a little way higher than that. But I guess I was thinking these are films I do like, but also films I feel like maybe expected I expected a little better from Mr. JPL and Mr. J. I think one of them that did come to mind was Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. I guess I expected that one to be on Jay's. I know he does like it, um, but I don't know. I guess just a little surprised that it didn't make the list. And it's again, there's 100 films, so many films we've seen, so it's not a strong judgment. It's I guess maybe I expected that one, but I expected very wrong. Another one I had thought that may would have made it on maybe either of the lists would have been the 2001 Ocean's 11. I really like the film. I think it's incredibly well made. Maybe would have expected it in Mr. JPO's over Jay's. I thought that was an interesting omission, at least from my perspective on how I see the films and how I maybe expected from them. And then maybe another film that I probably definitely would have expected on Mr. JPL's list would have been Hundreds of Beavers. That film kind of being a black and white feature. I feel like that would really appeal to Mr. JPL, but also kind of expected it to be on Jay's list possibly. Don't know. I feel like I was looking at films. I was like, I could be nitpicky and be like, "There's no 20th Century Girl," but that's not necessarily the film that directly appeals to JPL or Jay. I enjoy the film. That's definitely not a film I would have expected on their list. And at that point, I would just be reiterating my list. And if you want to see at least my top 10, maybe 20, because I believe we did honorable mentions, listen to the Century list, the favorite films of the 21st century. There's the list where you can hear at least my top 20. This is not that. Even though all three of these films, I believe, appeared in that top 20. Definitely the first two, I was thinking maybe would have expected to see, and then Hundreds of Beavers was my little all right, here's a silly little dart. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Well, that nearly wraps up my time, but hey, it's been 200 episodes for podcast naming brackets, which is pretty insane to think about. So little congratulations all around. I know I was around for a little part of that, and I guess still continue to be. Mr. JPL still doing this for about a decade and 200 episodes. Kind of crazy. Good job. I guess here's to another decade and 200. I don't know. We'll see what will happen, but we're having fun right now talking about films, and that presently isn't going to stop anytime soon.
All right then. Well, let's get into our overall thoughts here. Yeah, yeah. I mean, our list makes sense. I'm sure.
as much as they can.
Yeah, I didn't realize "It's a Wonderful Life" was so high in your list.
Okay.
Because it was originally on my list, and then I saw it was like in your top 10. I was like, oh no, I had to replace it. And so I had to replace it with something that was similar because otherwise it would break apart my list. So I replaced it with Ikaru, which I felt
Okay.
was similar in emotion and theme.
Yeah. Those are very like connected. Um, slightly different tone, but yeah, the similar themes and ideas. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, no, that is one that I really, both of those I enjoy both of them.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. No, I was like, oh man, I want to talk about that, but then you got to talk about that. I love It's a Wonderful Life. It's a great
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
on your list, I think. Well, one that actually I have seen since we originally like planned this out, and I originally wrote my list out is Seven Samurai. Speaking of Kurosawa,
Yes.
saw that for the first time with some friends. That was also, it was one where, because I never know when I get together with friends, we tend to like joke around and riff on the movie, and some movies aren't quite suited for that. We did Sad Soviet Movie Month one month,
Mm-hmm.
and those
Mm-hmm.
don't quite fit the vibe of hanging out with friends and riffing on the movies. Seven Samurai was very surprised and pleased that it worked very well. It's very entertaining. It has some humor in it, but it's also like there's a very profound.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really great. I love it. I can see why it inspired like a lot of things,
Yeah.
specifically Star Wars. Um, yeah, no. So of your list, I've seen 49 films,
Okay.
including the trilogy. So not half. So yeah, I mean, of the stuff that's on your list that would have been mine would have been like Spielberg things, so like E.T., um, something like Grand Budapest. That's not Spielberg, but you get my gist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, X-Men 2. I think I would have done the X-Men franchise if it weren't for that. Toy Story.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because you had Toy Story 2.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe some of the Ghibli, but I knew you would have
Okay.
talked about Ghibli.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Yeah, I was surprised that you put Away on your list. We
Okay.
did Zimbalotus last year, and that was like I think my favorite of these films. So seeing it
Yeah.
here, it's like oh, surprising, pretty cool though.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it, and it has stuck with me, and I'm looking
Hmm.
forward to revisiting it someday.
Sure.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
On your list, I'm looking quick through here to see. I think because you absorbed a lot of the like franchise stuff, which let me
Yes.
get a little bit more out there. Not that I had a ton of. I'm somewhat intentional of like trying to avoid that with my top lists, because I think sometimes I can be overly influenced by my appreciation for a certain franchise that then leads me to maybe overestimate the films themselves as distinct entities. But yeah, you have a couple of Ghiblis on your list that easily could have made mine. Whisper of the Heart, Porco Rosso, Grave of the Fireflies as well. Though that one, I'm glad you had it on your list, because I really liked it the first time around. I did rewatch it, and it didn't hit quite as much on rewatch.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, a
I.
couple other ones. Interstellar, my favorite of the Nolans.
Mhm.
You had that on your list, so I didn't have it on mine. And then Alien, I love Alien. I love Aliens. That's a favorite franchise of mine. So Aliens, I think specifically, I originally had on my list, and then since you
Mhm.
were going to be talking about that, I figured I would let you have that one.
Yeah, you took Kiki, his delivery servants. I would have had that on my list, because
Okay.
that's my favorite of Miyazaki. I
Uh huh.
think Kiki. Um, Jaws, yeah, Jaws. I mean,
Yeah.
also, yeah, also Nolan. So Memento and Prestige. I knew you would have talked about them, so I
Uh huh.
didn't touch it. But yeah, I if you didn't talk about them, I probably would have. Um, didn't realize you liked Titanic so much.
Okay. Yeah. No, that
It's a
that is
solid.
a yeah. Um,
I
I was
rewatched
surprised to
that
see
recently.
Barbie, Princess and the Pauper on your list.
Well, I had to mention it. I mean, I liked it. It was my favorite of that series,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I had to give a shout out at that towards the end of my list here.
I like your spelling of Pauper.
Oh,
No, I
yes.
was surprised on your list to see that you put the Star, not like too surprised, but a little bit surprised to see you put that the Star Wars prequels above the originals. Now I know that Episode 3 is your favorite of the bunch. I
Yeah,
In aggregate I was maybe wondering if you had a different opinion there.
It's because those are the ones that I rewatch the most, and
Okay.
it's my favorite era of Star Wars. I think the world is just so fascinating to experience because the originals you're getting to the classic storytellings of like the hero's journey, the good versus evil, and like those are very foundational stuff that I liked how the prequels expanded on that and building to that in a powerful way. I agree that the originals are probably better structured story wise and writing wise, but I liked the action, the world, the overall imagination of the prequels more. And I get for nostalgic reasons. Like those are the ones that I watched before the originals. The third one
Okay.
got me
Okay.
into Star Wars in general. So because of that personal connection, I felt more towards the prequels than the originals. Honestly, like I debated whether or not just to put the whole saga on there, but I was like, no, I need two slots for Star Wars. Um,
Well, plus Rogue One in its own
Plus Rogue
slot.
One in its own slot. Yeah.
Yeah, I have before shared my opinions on the prequels. I have a fondness for them, but I I just don't. They don't work for me on a
Yeah,
basic
I
film
know.
level.
Any other surprises that you might have found on my end, or
Yeah, I
things that
mean,
you thought I would have mentioned but didn't?
no, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to see how many Kurosawa. I mean, I know how much you love Kurosawa,
Mm,
but that was neat to see some Hitchcock as well, which there probably would have been more of them on my list, except that I haven't seen a lot of them, and that's something I'm
sure.
currently working on. I actually
Yeah.
briefly switched over Rebecca. I swapped out for The Lady Vanishes just because I recently saw that and really, really liked it. But
Hmm.
I'm about to watch Rebecca next week, rewatch Rebecca next week. So I was like, what's going to happen is I'm going to swap it out, and then I'm going to rewatch Rebecca. Go, oh, I should have kept Rebecca there. So but no, I am looking forward to. I have seen Rear Window. I'm looking forward to North by Northwest, as you said, similar to the 39 Steps, which is one of his earlier pre Rebecca films, which I have seen
Yes.
at this point.
Hmm. Yeah. Like I said, I was a much more franchise heavy person. I am glad I am glad I consolidated uh some of the
Okay.
films of the series because it allowed me to like mention more films. Um like okay. So I have a list and I put the whole list of like all the films and I have like almost 200 films. I'm like at
Yeah.
170 just for the franchise. So that's 70 slots. That's uh that would have not been there or I don't know, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, when I encountered that, I tended to put one film as just sort of the representative. So, for example, Wake Up Dead Man, instead of doing the Knives Out trilogy, I was like, well, Wake Up Dead Man is my favorite of the three. So, even if the other two would have made my list at some point, like just having that one on there is a representation. Or even like Gone Girl is a favorite of mine, but I already had Girl with the Dragon Tattoo on my list, another Fincher sort of in that vein. So there are certain things on my list. There are also certain things that like I have a couple Buster Keaton movies on my list because I was just like, oh, both of these. I actually originally had three on my list, and then I swapped one out sort of last minute. So yeah, there's sort of a mix on my list of things that are some of them are standing in for more things, some of them are just kind of standing on their own.
Yeah. I liked how my list kind of was divided into different sections.
Okay.
Like there were sections where I was doing okay, here's the DreamWorks section, here's the Disney animated section. Then we got into some DC stuff, then we got into other random stuff, then back to some DC. Then I did oh, here's like the sad tearjerker ones, here's like the more holiday ones, here's the foreign ones. Um here's anime, here's franchises, up until we got our till closer to our top tens where they're more direct. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
I had
I'm
sort of the opposite approach on my list. Because what I actually did, I had my top 10, and then I had just like a big glob of movies. I was like, what do I do
mhm,
with these? So I actually, I wanted to have as little like clumping together as possible because I found when I was just trying to rank them by themselves, I would end up with like two movies from 2009 right after each other. And I'm like, well, is there a way to separate these a little bit? So I actually went through and I made 9 different top 10 lists that are sort of genre based. So horror, drama, classics, comedy, just various things. And then I put 10 movies in each one of those and then ranked those individual lists. And then I kind of shuffled them all together, um, so that there wouldn't be too much of like one genre or one style all clumped together. So that does lead to some very weird things like GBF, which is a film that I love. It is probably a bit too high at number 20, but yeah, that's the way it ended up working out.
Hmm. Yeah. Do you have like the stats of like how many films on my list that you've seen?
I have seen 79.9%, so that's 135 out of 169. I know off the top
Okay.
of my head I'm missing the Ip Man films. There's
Right.
a few franchises that I'm missing. I'm missing a lot of the like animated DC stuff that you've seen.
Sure. Yeah, looking at your list, like a lot of the stuff that I've not seen from your list are like films that I don't think I'll ever see or I don't really have any interest of seeing. That's
Uh,
our that's how wide our tastes are. um, I'm a very simple man. I like simple things. You like the more deep, profound things, weird stuff as well. Um, but yeah.
someday you'll see some of these. I feel like there's some like
Yeah,
I,
sure.
Tokyo Godfathers. I think is one, since that I'm just looking at the poster right now. That is one that I feel like you'll eventually get around to. Oh, you
I
have seen it. Oh, you have seen it. Okay.
Last year I went through a lot of Satoshi Kon's films,
Okay. Yeah.
so that kind of went under the radar because I never mentioned it, but I did. I went through his films last year. Yeah,
Okay.
I that that one might be my favorite of his films. Maybe
Okay. Yeah, it's my
it's
favorite of
easiest to
his.
get into,
Yeah.
for sure. That and Millennium Man Actress. Yeah, so why don't we get into some stats that we have? We could look at IMDb. We got some stats here. So Jay, why don't we start with your list here?
We're
Tell
actually
us,
looking at letterbox stats, unless you're
what did I
looking at
just say?
IMDb. Maybe you're looking at IMDb, but I'm looking
Did
at
I
letterbox.
did I say
You
IMDb?
said IMDb.
Why would I say that?
I have no idea.
All
Ask
right,
yourself.
all right. Let's. What does your list look like? Let's start
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I won't run absolutely everything down just because some of it isn't. But I have 87 directors represented, 23 countries, 9 languages, stretching from my earliest film in 1924. That's, I believe, Sherlock Jr. My most recent film in 2025. That would be Wake Up Dead Man. Um, my top years are 2019 with 6 films, 2022 with 5 films, and 1997 and 2003 each with 4 films. Um,
Hmm.
in terms of genre, I have 51 drama films, 27 thriller, 26 comedy, 25 fantasy. That feels very accurate to my taste. Horror at 20 films. We'll shout that out. I actually have 4 films on here that are credited with no spoken language. That's the Buster Keatons and
Sure.
Away, and then one other
Yeah.
that I'm not thinking of at the moment. Um, yeah, in terms of recurring casts, no surprise at all. Can you guess who my number one actor is on recurring?
No, I don't know you at all, Jay. What are you talking about? Who? Who's
Throw out
who's
a name.
this?
Oh, I guess you know what it is because you've seen it.
I'm reading
Um,
it. I'm reading it
yes,
right.
Tilda
Yeah.
Swinton. The
Yes.
5 films that she's in that are on my list here. Just yeah, great actress. Kate Blanchett 4. I didn't put all of the Lord of the Rings movies on here separately just because I felt that was a little excessive. So yeah, she's in 4 films, but technically that would be what, 6. Sigourney Weaver, yeah, 4 films here. Saoirse Ronan 4 films, and Cliff Curtis also 4 films. Yeah, I feel like those are all actors who I enjoy and who I have specifically sought out films knowing that they're in. So yeah, and then in terms of directors, Hayao Miyazaki has 4 films that made it onto my list, and then both Peter Jackson and M Night Shyamalan with 3 films, and then a whole bunch of people with 2 films. I won't run down that whole list.
Highs and lows, real quick.
Yeah, well, high and low is my highest average, very fittingly. Lowest average is Old. That's not a surprise. That is a film that I very much love, but that is not widely loved, unfortunately. Has not gotten its due, I think. Most popular, Parasite, and most obscure, Buster Keaton's Go West. Again, not one I'm surprised by. That's not generally considered. I think people tend to go for either the General or Sherlock Jr. when they're watching his films. So some of his other films go a little underseen. Um, and then, yeah, the longest film on my list is The Lord of the Rings. I put Return of the King on my list specifically, but when you combine all of them together, that's also the longest. And the shortest
Of
is
course.
Buster Keaton's Sherlock Jr. at 45 minutes. A very good 45 minutes.
Yeah. For my stats, I included all 169 films, so there's a lot more names going on here, which includes 119 directors, 12 countries, 4 languages, and 339.9 hours. Uh, my top years are 2014 at 9 films, 2016 at 9 films, 2004 at 9 films. So, 3 of my favorite years. I mean, it makes sense. And then 2010 and 2008. Um, Decades are 2010s, 2000s, 90s, of course. I mean, that makes sense. That's kind of the same for both of us. Um, for genres, my favorite genres are action, adventure, sci-fi, drama, and animation. Yeah, that that's
Yep,
me.
yep.
That's
No
very me.
horror in your top genres at all. Did
No
not make the
horror.
cut.
27 thriller though. So that's I'm not a horror person, but a good thriller is fine
Uh-huh.
enough. Apparently, I have 19 UK films. Yeah, I guess
Harry
that.
Potter is like 8 of those.
Yeah, that's true. Um, 15 Japan, 14 in languages, 4 Cantonese films. So that's Ip Man, 115 English. Uh, Taking a quick look in nano genres, epic heroes, superheroes. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Look at my cast list, which is kind of messed up because of all the franchises. 12 Samuel L. Jackson, 11 Warwick Davis, who is both Star Wars and Harry Potter. Uh, you got 9 Robert Downing because of Marvel, 9 Circuses because of Lord of the Rings and Planet and
And
his
Marvel.
other and Marvel. 9 Ring Vangs because of uh,
Okay, can you run that
Mission
name back again for me?
Ving Rhymes. What did I say?
Yes, not ring veins.
Okay, I'm very good at reading. um, yes, and then because there are 8 Mission Impossible and Harry Potter films, you have all those cast members: Daniel Radcliffe, Tom Cruise,
Okay, but
um,
you're burying the lead with who's your top Harry Potter actor here.
Tom Felton,
Tom Felton, by virtue of being in the one Planet of the Apes movie, showing up
and
in your
David Bradley,
yep,
who was
making
in
it
that.
higher than any of the other actors in those franchises.
Yes, further down the list, you'll find eventually some Harrison Ford at 7 films, Stallone at 7 films. The
Did
actors that I
Mifune
felt
make
pretty much.
your list here at all? I'm not seeing him in
Uh
the. Must be pretty far
ooh,
down.
he would be like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I gotta keep scrolling for that. Um, but onto directors, I have 9 Steven Spielbergs, 5 John G. Avildsen, who does like the Rocky and Karate Kid films, 4 George Lucas, of course, 4 Chads, who did John Wick,
Chad
4
Stahelski. Yep.
yeah, 4 for the Russos, 4 Stallones, 4 Akira Kurosawa, and then 4 Christopher McQuarrie, and also David Yates, who did stuff at some point.
Yep.
What did he do? Let me see.
Yates did 4 of the Harry Potters.
That makes sense. Uh, Looking at composers, I have 21 John Williams, the GOAT, 11 Michael Giacchinos, 10 Hans Zimmer, 8 Alan Silvestris, and 8 Lalo Schifrin. Lalo Schifrin's here because he wrote the original theme for Mission Impossible. Um, For my highs and lows, my highest average is 12 Angry Men. Lowest average is Thor the Dark World. Most popular is Interstellar. Most obscure is Bionicle 3 The Web of Shadows, which is shocking. Newest is Mission Possible Final Reckoning. Oldest is Rashomon. The longest is Seven Samurai at 207 minutes. And the shortest is Look Back at 58 minutes. And if we
Yeah.
combine those lists,
So a bit skewed by your numbers here, but yeah, we have 526.1 hours with 191 directors across 26 countries and 11 languages. Our top years combined: 2019, 2014, 2004, 2017, and 2018. So lots of teen years there, including
yes.
2017, 18, and 19, all making the cut there. Yeah, top genres: action, adventure, drama, sci-fi. Once again, horror doesn't make the cut here when we combine our lists together.
Yeah. We have 51 animation films. That's fun.
Yeah. I feel like that makes sense with us. Yeah, and then our languages are basically the same, except that my no spoken languages has made it on here with the four films, which I did just look at, and the fourth one is Blood Tea and Red String. So two
Nice.
Keatons away in Blood Tea and Red String.
Yeah, not much really changes for the cast list except Harrison Ford moved up from 7 to 9. Tom Hanks moved up to 8 films now.
Yeah, David Bradley up to 10 films because he's in Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and Emma Watson now at 9 films because she's in Little Women,
Yes.
and Harrison Ford in Blade Runner.
Directors.
So yeah, similar list. Steven Spielberg with 11, Christopher Nolan with 5. He's now number 2, and Hayao Miyazaki tied with 5 as well. Peter Jackson with 5, and Kurosawa with 5, and then John
Nice.
G. Avildsen with 5 as well. So yeah, lots of filmmakers with 5 films there.
And our averages for high and lows is pretty much the
Basically
same
the
as
same.
mine,
Yeah.
except you have the oldest with Buster Keaton.
And the newest with Wake Up Dead Man.
Yes. And the shortest. The longest is still Seven Samurai. So yeah, that's our list.
Yep.
200 films. It's a
Yeah.
lot of films. Almost 300 if you include all the individual franchises. It would be 300 if I went past the Infinity Saga for sure. But I knew better than to just do that. So yeah, this was fun. It really helped me put into perspective the different things I like. It's like I knew I was into franchises, but you could really tell I'm into franchises. You can tell I'm into more Japanese cinema now with like anime films and Kurosawa and Godzilla, the big three, I guess, for me. I like DC animated films. I like animation more in general, I guess. Yeah, that's me, and you're you.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for our top 200. Who knows what we'll do for 300?
Yeah.
5 years from now, I'm sure we'll come up with something.
Oh yeah. We'll figure something out.
Yeah, maybe we'll just talk about Zack Snyder's 300 film. Who knows?
If we also talk about Rise of an Empire, we can do that.
And that one Samurai Jack episode. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, thanks for joining, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.